Kia ora, we can't ask advice from staff, only Aaron.
No, we can.
Oh, cool. Hey, guys. So, Lynette, you'll probably remember in 2022, in the annual plan 2022, I requested something similar to this. And the feedback that came back to me was that it could actually encourage more fly tipping and therefore cost the council more if we did go down that angle. And that particularly was alluding to students and the Harrington area. Would your view still stay the same in this regard and regarding this notice of motion?
I got the advice off Alex, so I'll let him answer the question.
I think Alex, we were talking maybe, yeah.
Yeah, look, I think what the notice of motion does is it triggers a wider discussion about illegal dumping.
Yeah.
So our proposed response is that we're reviewing the policy for waiving of dump fees at the moment, and that'll lead to, if you like, an illegal dumping policy stroke strategy. And that would cover things like education, engagement, service delivery, whatever that happens to be. And then the regulatory side, the compliance monitoring and enforcement. So rather than responding to the individual idea, if you like, we would come back to you with a full response, and that would manifest into a policy that would then go out to public consultation, because it will have impact on budgets and the community at large.
In Sam's words, that's really pragmatic. Yeah, I'd actually be open to looking into that, seeing what staff come back with. That's really interesting.
Alec, would you guys consider as part of this perhaps making vouchers for community groups who do their own cleanups to actually take rubbish to a dump? I've been part of a couple where it just snaps and solved the results of the pickup, which is huge. And then I assume the cost of transporting that to the refuse facility would be substantial, but if it was done by the group that had actually picked up the rubbish, then they would be covering the transport, and we could consider waiving the fees. Is that something that you could look at?
Yeah, that'll be part of the review, is how do we, that'll come under the engagement part, how do we engage with the community, those that are out there, whether they're community groups, environmental groups, NGOs that are doing cleanups, how can we support them and facilitate what they want to do? There is a fine line between going too far and then that becomes an unofficial service which promotes, as you were saying earlier, the increase in the activity. But yeah, we've got to be mindful that there are various actors out there in this process that will do things, and we've got to try and support them. But internally, we've got to also try and quantify that. We've got to caveat it. So you need a budget, you need a limit, and you need to be able to communicate that to the community as well.
Do we have Alec, we have a process at the moment of communities?
Yeah, the current process is on the website as such, and we'll improve that in the next short term just to make it more clear. But at the moment, the general rule of thumb is if you are doing a community clean-up, you contact council, you ask for a waiving of the fees, and then that's referred internally to the department that's responsible for that area. So if it was in a park, it would go to Parks, and then they would arrange the order number and speak to EcoCentral, so you could then avoid paying the fees when you go to the transfer station. So there is a system in play at the moment, but there's not a lot of visibility on what that's costing us across the whole of council. And obviously we've got Steve Guy's department in transport. That's more a reactive service to stuff that's dumped on the streets. So this policy review will bring all that together, give you all the information, and then you'll be able to make the decisions based on that.
Great. Andre?
Thank you. You basically answered my question already, that this will consider a number of things rather than just fly tipping. For example, if someone's street's covered in leaves and they want to pick them up for us and bring them to the dump for us, our response to them is no, sorry, you'd have to pay for that yourself, but we can send someone out to pick them up for you at no personal cost to them. So there's definitely savings to be found there somewhere, and I welcome this very much. Thank you.
Okay. Vic?
Thank you. Can you please help me understand what the difference is, the essential difference is between this notice of motion now and the one that Councillor Harrison Hunt attempted to progress in 2022, and are there any outstanding actions?
That was my understanding, my recollection is that Councillor Harrison Hunt proposed an amendment to the LTP. I don't know what the detail of it was at the time. I can't recall the absolute detail right at the time. But we are responding to the notice of motion as it's in front of us today.
So there's no outstanding actions arising from the original
No.
request? Okay, thanks.
Okay. Pauline, then Sarah.
Sorry, I just missed which review are you talking about?
So we have I guess at the moment it's called the waiving of dump fees at the transfer station. But what we'll
Okay, so you've got a policy
there's a
on that.
policy. We might change the name. We might call it an illegal dumping policy or a litter
Yeah.
policy. We'll work our way through an appropriate title.
So this will be included in that.
but correct. Yes.
So we don't really need this.
No, we need this because that will be, the review of that policy will be as a result of this
Yeah,
resolution.
this triggers the work. This motion triggers the work. Yeah.
I thought you were doing it anyway.
We are, but it just triggers it in the sense that it makes it a more all-encompassing thing. All we were doing initially was reviewing the free dumping policy, but there's more to it than that. So this will trigger that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Sarah, please. And
Thanks so
Tyler's happy to move it on second.
So there's a wide range of people do a whole pile of really good stuff in the community,
We've done
from picking up rubbish to weeding gardens and those kind of things as well. So it would be quite good if this covered not just stuff that's been dumped or littered, if you like, but for example, if communities take on the responsibility for sections of parks or street booms, those kind of things, the ability for them to get rid of the green waste and that kind of stuff too. That would be great.
All good. Yeah, Aaron should be moving it because it's his. But there is an amendment, as you.
There's an amendment.
So Aaron just has to. Can you say that, Aaron? Maybe not.
What's the amendment?
Might have to read it out.
Oh, okay, it's popped up now.
Include with. Is that there?
Or else the mover can,
Oh, yeah, more than happy to include that because I see Banks Peninsula as part of our city.
and then
We are one.
it's to agree. It is part of the city. Oh, he has to agree.
I didn't realise Tyrone was on the phone. No, cool. So you're happy with that? You're happy to
Yeah,
move it. He's happy to second it.
Is the majority happy? The majority.
You know, the majority have to be happy because it's no submission.
So the majority have to agree to the amendment.
All happy with the amendment? Yeah. Yep.
Do you want to take
Some residents of the
Tyrone?
have free dumping and others for their normal rubbish.
Just include it within the report.
Not rubbish, it's fly tipping.
No, the second bit.
I mean, it's just asking for information.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to Tyrone's amendment, it has been.
The city.
Yeah, what Tyrone's proposing there has been raised during annual plans and stuff in the past. So we have heard from residents on that. So it'll be good to include it.
It's not their personal rubbish, it's roadside stuff they're picking
Not what
up.
it
It's
says.
the
No,
same.
it's not.
No, it does. It says just it says their rubbish.
So you want to have that qualified?
Yep.
Do you mean their rubbish?
Their personal.
Yeah, because they don't get a red bin.
But they
And
do
at
have.
the moment, they have to go to transfer stations, and that's way more. And so the rubbish still has to come back to the city, and it's more expensive for residents out there to deliver rubbish. Yeah, so we're just getting advice.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just advice.
Everyone's happy. Just one wee question, Alec. We're talking about fly tipping. Out at the back of the airport, just down the road from where my daughter lives, I see it's pretty active out there. But I see we've got 2 of those standard camera things sitting on concrete blocks. Are they ours, or are we hiring them, or what are we doing? Or maybe someone else has put them in.
I think they're Steve's.
They could be other parts of transport, so we can find out.
Big things with
Yeah.
the solar on top.
Yeah, I don't know the answer, but I'll inquire and come back
it
to
may
you.
even be the people that live around that area. So there's 2 of them there. So. Okay, so I think we're pretty happy.
Could we just make a point on the amendment? It's just for clarity. The way I read that is that you're saying that the people in Banks Peninsula would get a free tip at the Metro transfer station.
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
I know, that's my question.
No, good question.
Just asking for information.
But
It's already
She wanted
it's
the
enormously
consequence of that
expensive to
possibility, right?
Take,
Right.
it's
So-
enormously
so,
expensive to take rubbish to a transfer
I don't
station.
think
Councillor Fields did suggest, so we have admitted that it's advice on that. It's not just concluded. Yeah, well, the advice would include that. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Just to be clear though, Tyrone, you know this that
Again.
Akaroa Akaroa does get its bins collected, doesn't it? Not there's parts of expenditure you're talking about.
I've been clear why they were in Ekaroa subdivisions. So that includes Labon's Bay, Birdlings
You're
Bay,
onto it. Yep. No problem.
O'Kane's Bay, etc.
is the wording clear enough? Do you need different wording to be able to include the parks and people weeding and stuff, or that's just going to happen anyway? That's fine because it's not
That'll
rubbish.
be hopefully covered in the number one.
Yeah, it's just not rubbish.
Yeah.
That's all. So
I'm happy, Sarah, to include rubbish/green waste because community cleanups, like Andre pointed out, of green waste makes more sense than us sending out sweeper trucks every time we've got a storm coming.
Yeah.
It's going to be miles cheaper. Yeah.
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 And they know where it is too. So, yeah, more than happy that that goes in there.
Advice.
Okay. Right.
No cost to the volunteers.
Is everybody
Big cost to
happy?
the ratepayer.
Right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Thank you. Carried. Brilliant. Now can we come to the highlight.